doing?
Ice in my veins, but you know I'm about to pull up.
Time will only tell. You can try me if you want. Life can get real crazy. You can try me if you want. We gon' find out soon. We gon' find out soon. Let the record play. We gon' find out soon. Look me in my eyes. You can try me if you want. We don't got the same drive. You can try me if you want. We gon' find out soon. We gon' find out soon. Let the record play. We gon' find out soon. We gon' find out soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish we had something fun to talk about today. Another New York Giants loss. They got shellacked, but today is a special day. It's a start of a new chapter of the very, very new Big Blue Brew. We got my boy Hector.
Yes,
on
sir.
with us today. Hector, how are you doing? Great job on Morning Brew earlier. Absolutely loved it. How are you, bro?
First of all, I appreciate you for that amazing introduction right there, my guy Joe. But like you said, I wish you was here on the better circumstances, right? We go from covering one team with the Yankees to now covering the Giants, who are both shitting the bed at the moment. But I'm here, I'm excited, I'm ready to have this conversation, Joe. You know, when me and you link up, you know it's always a great convo.
It's fun, bro. It's fun. I've been looking forward to having you all damn day, just me and you chatting about the G-Men.
Yes,
but
sir.
listen, they just lost 31-16. And I think, in my opinion, I don't think the Miami Dolphins are all that great, honestly. They made a lot of mistakes in that game that the Giants should have capitalized on, and they failed to. You know, that 31-16 score, I mean, it's only its 2-score ball game.
Yeah.
And the penalty after penalty after penalty, that was tough on the Giants. That offensive line, the constant mistakes, but the Dolphins making a lot of their own too, right? They're just sloppy football all around. And really quick though, Hector, I want to shout out a few people in the chat. We got Jason Lang. What's going on, brother? TC Steels. Yeah,
my brother.
What's going on, brother, man? We got Dev Finch. What's up, Dev? Hope you're having a stupendous day today. And Jason Lang, the Dolphins only get yards on running and short passes. Yeah, my God. I think the Dolphins had like how many total yards? 500 or 600 total yards in the game?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the stats right
now. You gotta be kidding me. They were just what's their running back's name? Anache? I might have just butchered his name. He was
I don't want to butcher it, so I'll let you butcher it.
Yeah, he looked like an all-pro halfback, man. Achane, whatever. He looked like an all-pro halfback. The kid's a freaking rookie. He's a 3rd-round draft pick, and you made him look like that. Hector, it was bad. What do you think about the game, bro?
When you look at the stats, I just brought them up. When it comes to first downs, Miami had 22 first downs to our 15. You're not going to win many games when your opponent is getting more first downs than you are. That's one. Second, when it comes to rushing first downs, Miami were able to get 8 rushing first downs to our 3 rushing first downs. Without Saquon Barkley, we have no running game whatsoever. And then when you look at the total yards, you said it, Miami had a total of 524 yards. We only had a total of 268. That right there goes to show you who wins, who loses.
It's a freaking landslide, bro. But think about this, though, bro. It was only a 2-score game.
Yeah.
It's 31-16. 31-16. That's it. So it's like it didn't, the discrepancy in yards, the Dolphins, especially on that goal line play at the end, not at the end, but Tua threw that interception and Pinnock returned that for 102 yards.
Yeah.
And
when you look at the turnover numbers, I'm sorry to cut over you, but Miami had 3 turnovers. 2 of them were interceptions, like you said. One of them was a forced fumble.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Giants, we had no penalties. I mean, we had no turnovers whatsoever. When it comes to the penalties, like you said, the holding, the not being ready at the line of scrimmage. That right there goes to show you who is prepared for the games and who is not prepared. It falls on the coaching. To me, that right there, it falls on the coaching. You got to be able to get your guys ready. Even if it's backup guys that are filling in for some guys that are injured and not playing, even the backups and the backups to the backups, they all got to be prepared.
Yeah, I know. Listen, going 1-4 to start the year, it's a disappointment, bro. We were advertised something a little bit different, but in all fairness, too, our best player on both sides of the ball, Saquon Barkley, isn't playing. So it's almost like we gave him such a hard time this offseason. Gave him such a hard time. And the reason why we gave him a hard time, it's not because of his ability, it's because of his lack of, being there playing, right? And him getting hurt all the time. That was the whole spiel. Not to commit long term to Saquon Barkley. But man, the cracks show when he's not there, we're just awful. Awful. And let's get into this offensive line too. I mean, holy crap. They're so bad. So do you put this on the Giants offensive line, or do you put this on Daniel Jones? Because Dan Orlovsky had a decent breakdown. I'm not sure if you saw that. I believe it was a week ago at this point. He basically broke down the Giants offensive line and Daniel Jones and pretty much said not against the Dolphins, but the previous game when he got sacked 11 times, that 6 of the 11 sacks were on Daniel Jones. So he did do a little better with getting the football out of there. But do you put the blame on him or this offensive line?
I can't put all of the blame on Daniel Jones. I'm going to take a step back first and foremost so that everybody knows. When it comes to Daniel Jones, I don't believe Daniel Jones is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Do I believe Daniel Jones is an above average quarterback in the NFL? Yeah. Absolutely. But even an above average quarterback can't get anything going with this type of offensive line. And the offensive line issue, this has been something we've been dealing with going back to the days of when Eli Manning was still a part of this team, Joe. Like, when do we blame the players or when do we blame the front office, right? Like, when it comes to ownership, how many people have been in charge ever since Eli left, ever since we had our first issue with the offensive line, and that hasn't been addressed since then? What are we on, like 6-7 years since then? And it's still the same issue. Every year it comes, everything is offensive line, the offensive line. When are we going to take a step back and say, can ownership finally find the right people to actually fix this offensive line?
Yeah, like if you want to talk about that, I mean, you could say that the scouting's kind of been pretty poor, right? I believe that they've taken offensive linemen 4 or 5 times within the first 3 rounds, and it's in the past couple of years. So it's not like they're not trying to improve the O-line. They are. And they hit a home run on Andrew Thomas. He's one of the best left tackles in the league. But he's got to play too. And he's not even playing.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you don't have the personnel behind them to even have decent fill-ins. Like I like Izudu. I don't think he's that bad. He's not a left tackle. Even the scumbag that I think he is, he's not a right tackle either. He's more of an interior lineman. He played right guard, I believe, for Alabama in college. So why are we trying this experiment on him to try and play right tackle? I think that's wrong. But on that too, we're missing our rookie center right now. Right? We took him in the 2nd round. We're missing him. And Bredesen's our freaking center. Good Lord. It's bad. The line, I'm not sure. I ripped somebody last show for saying that the Giants should tank. I ripped them. But to be honest, I'm not saying that we should tank. I'm never. However, I don't really see much of an improvement on the way. I don't. Not on the O-line, unless Justin Pugh is 100% healthy and he believes he's one of the best passing left guards in the league. Still, I freaking hope so, Justin. We need it. We need it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand how things are getting so bad for this offensive line. You know, I don't get it.
On Twitter, right? Having nice interactions with Giants fans on Twitter, because Giants fans are really nice on Twitter. Yeah, whatever. But having these interactions, and you hear people saying it's ridiculous to tank the season, especially when you just signed your quarterback and he's making $40 million a season. I understand that. That makes no sense. But our issue is, if we were to go that route, we're not tanking in hopes of getting that shiny quarterback in the draft. No. We're tanking to try to better our odds when it comes to improving this offensive line, because let's be frank, every free agent signing that we added to this offensive line has been a bust, right? We've hit, like you said, on some drafts. When it comes to free agent signings, they haven't been good. We brought in the guy from New England, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head, some years back, and we thought he was going to be the saving grace for offense. We thought Nate was going to come and fix the offensive line. Nate was a total bust. He was able to get that money and retire nicely after his tenure with the Giants. But it all falls back on the offensive line. And do we have the right people in place? When it comes to coaching, Brian Daboll, preseason Brian Daboll, I was happy. I'm liking what he's hearing. I like the direction he wants to go in. 1-4 Brian Daboll, I'm not sold on him anymore. But like you said, we were promised something going into this season after last year, and trying to rebuild off of the momentum we set last year. Because last year, to start the season, nobody was expecting the Giants to come out the gates as they did, right? Towards the end of the season, we came back to earth. We came back to reality. But you expected this team to build off of that and have a better product on the field, Joe.
Yeah, and we won a playoff game last year too. So it's like, okay, now we won in the wild card round against the Vikings, where, we got slapped against the Eagles. But it's what we did. TC Steele is Cashman.
I just saw it.
Running the Giants. Hilarious. He might be.
Randy Levine's running the Giants. That's what it is.
Yeah. But Hector, a question for you, bro. Do you think, though, we have to be fair, right? We also have to be fair, too. The Giants played the Cowboys week 1, right? And then Cardinals week 2. I'm having a brain fart. Who the hell was week 3? The 49ers. Jigga coming in clutch. Thank you. The Seattle Seahawks, who we should have beaten, by the way.
Yes.
And the Miami Dolphins. So anyway, we're 1-4. Do you think that this is just too hard of a schedule, or is the roster just bad?
It's a little bit of both, because you always got to go off of momentum from week to week, right?
Yeah.
That's a way that a team could build off of either a loss or either a win. When you look at the first drive to start the season against the Cowboys, it looked amazing. Like, the offense looked like a well-oiled machine. That first drive, the first 2 minutes against the Cowboys, when we marched up the field, we looked amazing. They got the block on the punt. They got the block on the kick. They was able to run it back, get that time. Ever since then, it's just been a downhill when it comes to the momentum. Even against Arizona, even though we won that game against Arizona, it felt like the Giants were trying to give that game away in the first half. It wasn't until the second half, until Arizona started messing up and things started going our way, that the Giants started clicking. But it's a little bit of both of the schedule, but at the same time, Seattle's dealing with the same offensive line injuries that we're dealing with at the same time. Everybody is dealing with these type of injuries. So it comes down to the players not being good, and at the same time of the schedule.
Yeah, no, I know. But Jason Lang, only 3 O-line projected in the first round. All right. Dev Finch, I think Brian Daboll is the right guy for the Giants head coach. Dev, I agree with you. I think he is the best guy. I still have faith in him. You don't show that much of an improvement last season. And, so I listen, he played the Cowgirls, played the 49ers, which we could have won that game too. We could have beaten the 49ers. That was a close game. We got slapped around by the Seahawks. Pathetic. But, if the offense just looked a little bit better against Miami, we could have beaten them too. Bro, so you're kind of looking at, maybe an extra win or 2 if the Giants were playing great football. Yeah. But, it's 1-4, Hector, and you're going in playing Buffalo. If you were going to go 1-1 in your next 2 games against Miami and Buffalo, that Miami game, you should have won. Yes, the Bills are coming off of a loss now, so maybe the momentum isn't on their side, but the momentum isn't on our side either.
Yeah.
We stink. It's not on our side. But the big thing is, too, if we could have Mr. Saquon Barkley. So I'm going to ask you this now, Hector. I'm going to ask you this. Another
Ask
question
me,
for you.
Let's go.
Do you think if the Giants go 1-5, do you think that they should trade Saquon Barkley? Yes or no?
Oof, God. Oof, that's a tough one right there, Joe, because it's what's his value on the open market, right? Especially for a running back that he's missed some time over the past several years. Do other teams value Saquon Barkley the way us Giants fans value Saquon Barkley? And my thing is, if Saquon Barkley goes to a team and he has a team that has a decent offensive line, he's going to put up numbers. He puts up numbers with the trash offensive line that the Giants have. So just imagine him getting some semblance of just an average offensive line. He's going to pull up numbers, and the return, whatever return we get back, whether that be a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick, I don't think it's going to be higher than a 4th-round pick. I don't think the Giants are going to get back any 2nd-rounders or 1st-rounder for Saquon Barkley, especially with his injury concerns. So would it be better for us, even if we're 1-5, to try to roll the dice, and maybe when the schedule starts to favor us in the later part of the season, we try to make a run with Saquon on the team, or we just cut our losses and trade him for whatever we can?
Yeah. Hey, Jonathan, how the heck are you? Hope you're having a stupendous
Jonathan,
day.
what's good, my guy?
Listen, as far as Saquon goes, I think you have to look at what the 49ers gave up for McCaffrey last year, right? They gave up, I believe, a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and a 5th. The Giants won't get that much for Saquon Barkley. He's not McCaffrey. So it's I don't even know what they would get. They would get some value. I believe they have 7 picks in this year's draft. I think they have all their picks. I think they might have only 6. So maybe Barkley, he could net you maybe a 4 and a 5. But is that worth burning that bridge? And then maybe you want to re-sign him in the offseason, because what if Saquon Barkley comes back and he plays incredibly well? And then it's like, okay, crap. Now all of a sudden, this guy is helping us play kind of into, at least in a better spot than we were prior. So if that's the, it's a risk. If you're trading Saquon Barkley, you're tanking.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over. You gave up on your season if you trade Saquon Barkley. So to answer that, I think Saquon Barkley's actually more of the answer than trading him. I think he's more of an answer. So then at that point, it's like, okay, how can the Giants, if we think about it, how can they improve this season? Well, by bringing in some help on that line, and they've done so with Justin Pugh, right? Former New York Giant 1st-round draft pick, 33 years old, spent, I believe, the last 5 seasons as a Cardinal. But I know he dealt with, I believe, an ACL injury. Now he's working his way back. He's on the practice squad. So if Justin Pugh is as advertised, but meaning him saying, "Oh, I'm one of the best pass blockers in the league," well, then prove it, bro. Prove it.
Yeah.
And then if he comes in, then Andrew Thomas comes in. It's a little bit different. And then Saquon comes in. The team looks a little bit different. I'm not saying that they're gonna go, 9-7-1 or like they did last year. But what I am saying is there is a little bit of a silver lining if things go right, if these guys get healthy. Now, Dev Finch, Giants need a new QB. I disagree. Jonathan, maybe a 3rd round at best. Yeah, for Saquon, I think as far as that goes with Saquon Barkley, if they were to get that high of a pick for him, it would be because teams are bidding against each other to acquire Saquon Barkley. That just means that the price has gone up for him. But really, I see a 4 and a 5 for Saquon.
Yeah.
And it's no slight on Saquon Barkley, because if he's healthy, you're getting an all-pro halfback. 100%. But that's the question. Will he be healthy? So he might not even net you a 4 and a 5. Maybe just a 4, maybe just a 5. So at that point, is it really worth moving on from Saquon Barkley? TC Steele's Giants need a new OC. We'll give you Mac.
Yeah, okay. I'm good. No emotions, Matt Canada. I'm good. I don't need Matt Canada on the team.
Listen,
No, but
yeah,
I just want to answer you real quick.
Yeah, man.
I see what you're saying about Saquon, right? And my thing about Barkley is that Barkley coming out of the draft was always supposed to be this amazing talent, amazing running back, game changer, generation changer when it comes to being a running back. But we haven't seen it, right? Half of that falls on Saquon for not staying healthy, and the other half, it falls on the team not having the right pieces around him. Like I said, if he goes to a team that has a decent offensive line, he's going to put up numbers. It's hard for Saquon Barkley to put up numbers when once the snap happens, he has 2 seconds before he has to figure, do I go left, right when someone's in my face? It's the same thing with Daniel Jones. Once the snap happens, it's just 2 or 3 seconds and pressure is on him. It's hard for any quarterback to do anything when that type of pressure is on you that fast. Patrick Mahomes may be able to get out of that, but besides that, not that many quarterbacks will be able to do anything with that much pressure and that little bit of time.
Yeah, man. I don't. If you put anybody back there, I'm really not sure, because as soon as Daniel Jones calls hike, they're already back there. They're already back there. It's kind
they're
of
already. It looks like when Eli was on the team and he had no mobility back there, he was on his ass every 2 seconds.
It was
that's
comedic.
What Daniel Jones is looking like, bro.
At least Jones has some legs. At least he's got some legs. But get the hell up out of there.
He looking like he playing either manhunt or hot potato back there. Once he gets the ball, he don't know where to go.
As soon as he goes like, oh crap, they're coming after me.
Yeah.
You know, his freaking blind side, they're coming because Andrew Thomas ain't there. And Evan Neal, my God, I mean, I hate to bash this kid, but him talking about the hamburgers and the hot dogs.
Yeah, he brought it on himself.
You're a son of a gun, man.
Yeah.
You suck for saying that. We talked about this last episode, but Hector, I really don't have much tolerance for that. I really don't, bro. I don't. Flipping hamburgers and hot dogs. Half of New York flips hamburgers and hot dogs. Don't attack the fan.
When it comes to our society, right? Our society is built on the back of service workers. It's the Uber Eats drivers, it's the cab drivers, it's the custodians, it's the fast food restaurant workers. That is what society is built on. And when you look at who is going and spending their money, though, that's who's spending their money. The hamburger flippers, the hot dog sellers, that's who's spending the money to go and watch you play as poorly as you did. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. I'm like those videos when people go and bother the McDonald's worker. I think that is horrible. That goes to show how much of a character you do not have. I think that's a litmus test to see. Also, too, a litmus test is, you know, when you're in the supermarket, right, and you in the like the parking lot, people that don't put their cart back, I think you're a scumbag. I think you're like the lowest of the lowest in society, honestly.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, me too, bro. I'm always like, do you know what? That cart's got to go back.
Yes.
Not a short story. I don't know. I used to work at a store. I worked at Stop and Shop for 10 years.
Nice.
I used to do carts when I was like 16, 17. So I know what the heck it's like to bust your butt out in hot weather, cold weather. I understand. So I'm bringing that cart back no matter what. I'm bringing that cart back. So it's for him to attack the people who even flip burgers, cook hot dogs. How dare you? First of all, there are a lot of Giant fans like my uncle, incredibly wealthy, season ticket holder. You're disrespecting him too. There are doctors who are Giants fans, architects who are Giants fans. So what are you saying? Why do you have to be such an and with the apology that was just I don't.
Oh,
I don't believe
and that was that, you could tell that was printed by the Giants PR department and
Yeah.
fed to him. That wasn't a sincere apology. That was a half-ass apology when it comes to Evan Neal. And for you fans that went out there and voiced your opinion, I applaud you, because he definitely deserved that. He definitely deserved for the rest of the season. I don't care what happens. Every time that man is on the field, he needs to be booed for that.
honestly,
Blank period, bro.
I would try and move on from him. I would do my best. Man, he looked so bad against Miami too. He
Mhm.
looked so bad against Miami. He's looking worse every game. In the beginning of the year, it looked like he was improving a tiny bit. Not as of late. And especially when you come out and say the things that you're saying. I'm sorry that I wasn't blessed to be 6'5", 350 pounds, and have the ability to play this game that you're blessed to play. I apologize that I'm not worthy enough to be on the football field and play it at that high of a level. I'm sorry, Evan Neal, you freaking scumbag. Who the heck pays your salary? We do, Hector. We pay their damn salary. Us jerk-off fans pay their damn salary. And then tries to belittle the Giant fan? Tries to belittle the Giant fan? Are you kidding me? Who the hell do you think you are? What a jerk. Anyway.
I remember, right, and this is just real fast, right? One of my first jobs that I ever had, I worked for Peanut Butter and Company. It's a peanut butter sandwich shop in the West Village. If you go to the supermarket and see the peanut butter and jelly jars that said Peanut Butter and Co., that's the company I worked for. I was the back of the house. I was flipping the sandwiches. I was cooking in the back of the house. But you know what we did? We had the radio playing. What were we listening to? The Giants, the Yankees, and the Knicks on the radio. So those guys that you're criticizing for, even when they're flipping burgers, even when they're flipping hot dogs, they're listening to the games that you're crapping the bad at, Mr. Neal.
Yeah. And we have every right to complain and to boo, because like those people who go out, work at Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, Stop and Shop, ShopRite, Super G, wherever the hell you are, those same workers are spending a lot of money on tickets.
Facts.
To pay your salary. So I don't have any tolerance for that. I think it would be one heck of a statement if the Giants said, hey, Evan, we're moving on. But they won't. Hector, I'm going to ask you this.
Go ahead, brother.
Do you think, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to talk about it again. Do you think that Mr. Brian Daboll is truly the right man for the job? Yes or no?
Yes. I think he is. When you look at Brian Daboll, he says everything right. He has the background, the pedigree coming from Buffalo, but I definitely think that he is the right coach for this job. But it's all going to come back to the roster construction, right? Yeah. You can give Bill Belichick, you can give Madden, you can give one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NFL this roster. They ain't gonna do much with it. They ain't gonna do much with it. Let's be honest. It all falls on the offense. Coming into the season, we were told, look at all the weapons that Daniel Jones have. Look at the reconstructed wide receiver core. Well, guess what? The wide receiver core can't do much if the quarterback don't got an offensive line to protect them. So you can have all the fast runners you want. You can have all the athletic guys that you want. But if there's no offensive line to give your quarterback just 4 seconds to make a throw, you ain't going to do much. So when it comes to Brian Daboll, I appreciate him pre and post game, his comments, the way he carries himself. I definitely think that he is the right coach for this job.
I think so too. You know, last year he kind of proved it, right? The expectations really weren't there. We're thinking, okay, it's going to take maybe 2 to 3 years for this team to actually get good. And they made the playoffs, won in the wild card round, which we did not see that happening. So I think Daboll is the right man for the job. Jonathan's asking us a question. What can the Giants do to fix the team? Well, Jonathan, like I said earlier, it's going to come down to who could come back healthy, right? If Saquon, he comes back healthy. Andrew Thomas, he comes back healthy. Justin Pugh, he comes back and he's effective. That's what it's going to come down to. If the Giants are putting out all second, third stringers on that offensive line, it's going to be an absolute mess. It will be. It's going to be a mess. This whole season, it's going to be painful to watch. I'm going to cry every damn game because our quarterback can't have enough time to just make the right choice or decision. You know, it's pathetic. Like you said, Hector, you acquire Paris Campbell, who's incredibly fast. And he had a good year for Indianapolis last season. You acquired Paris Campbell. You acquired Darren Waller, who you traded a 3rd-round draft pick for him, by the way. You acquired him, and you drafted Jalen Hyatt. You already had Isaiah Hodgins, who had a productive year. Shepard came back. So you're kind of expecting this team to kind of break out offensively. And not to knock Daniel Jones, because I don't think it's entirely his fault, not to knock him, but you have a kid over there in Houston, CJ Stroud. Supposedly he doesn't have a good offensive line either, and he's putting up some numbers.
Yeah.
So is it Jones? Like, I mean, the receivers, I feel like they're not creating enough separation. I feel like they're not. Like, you know, and then to top it all off, there's a chance that we may not even have Daniel Jones this week. We may not even have him. We might have Tyrod freaking Taylor as a quarterback, which it's whatever, I guess. I'm not going to hate on Taylor. He was good back in the day. But we might not have Daniel Jones. Neck injury. This stat's crazy. Sacked 18 times in 2 weeks. Holy shrimp on a biscuit, eating French toast on a Friday. That's insane. I think so. If we don't have Daniel Jones, Hector, we're done. We're done.
No, definitely. And I think when you look back at the Daniel Jones draft, when you look back at the Saquon Barkley draft, it's like a hit and miss, because if the Giants don't take Daniel Jones, who are you taking? Who you take? What other quarterback? Exactly, right? There was.
Yeah, who did they? Who was even? In that
they passed on Hatchkins, or what was that
Dwayne
guy
Haskins,
that went? They rest in peace. Rest in peace. But the Giants passed on him as well. They weren't many quarterbacks, so you had to take Daniel Jones, right? Did you have to take him at the position you took him? Maybe not. Maybe you could have waited later on the draft, but then you don't want to lose out to him. I think our issue when it comes to the Giants, it falls back to when Bob McAdoo was with the Giants, right? And I say that jokingly because Bob McAdoo, he was the quarterback guru, right? This was supposed to be the guy that you brought in to replace or find the replacement for Eli Manning. Bob McAdoo said, I know a guy who's going to replace Eli Manning, and it should be Patrick Mahomes. And the Giants decided not to trade up in the draft in order to get Patrick Mahomes, and we lost out on Patrick Mahomes. And ever since then, it's just been bad luck after bad luck after bad luck when it comes to the Giants. Maybe I'm speaking out of term, or maybe I'm just too much of a boo-hoo Giants fan right now, Joe, but do you see what I'm saying?
Dude, I get it. I totally understand. That was back, I think, in 2017, right? When they didn't try to attempt to trade for Mahomes. But Mahomes, I mean, honestly, the Bears, they took at number 2. What's the kid's name? I'm gonna stutter.
You talking about Fields?
No. In 17, the Bears had the number 2 pick in the draft, and Mahomes, he was in that draft class. And I believe Deshaun Watson was also in that draft class. And the Bears took Mitchell Trubisky. Trubisky with the 2nd pick. They're the ones who are like, oh God, we suck. We just screwed everything up. But no, Hector, like, listen, I mean, McAdoo, I'm not his biggest fan. I don't even think he should have been the Giants head coach. I think they should have had Coughlin remain as the Giants head coach, to be totally honest with you. I'm still upset about that and bitter about that.
But I bring it up right, to criticize the Giants, because you brought this guy in because he's the quarterback guru, and when he identified the guy in the draft that you should go after, and you say, nah, when it's too expensive to trade for him, why did you even bring McAdoo in then? If you're not going to listen to him, I'm in agreement with you. They should have let Tom Coughlin just finish his career out here with the Giants. But if you're going to bring a guy in because he is the quote unquote quarterback guru, you don't listen to him. Why even bring him in?
What's the point? Yeah.
What's
No, I get
even
it.
the point?
What's the point? Yeah. They should, yeah. I mean, it's just the thing is too, it's like imagine if we had him.
Yeah,
Imagine if we traded up and drafted him. Holy crap. We might we might be a
because
2 to 3
if
time
that's
Super Bowl champ.
not even just that, right? You got to look at the
Yeah.
ripple effect, right? So
Yeah.
if we draft him, right, then the following seasons that are coming up, our record isn't that bad, and we don't draft Saquon Barkley with the number 2 pick.
We
We
don't,
probably
yeah.
draft an offensive lineman that actually worked out, right? So we build around Patrick Mahomes. That's how you're supposed to do it. Find your quarterback and build around your quarterback. Not find your running back and then maybe you get a quarterback in a couple of years later. That's not how you build a team.
If you think about this though, Mahomes, he doesn't start year 1. Like if the Giants do draft him, he doesn't start year 1. So the Giants still might suck enough to get the number 2 overall pick regardless.
Yeah.
So then you might still get Saquon Barkley and you might still have Odell on your team, right? To stay around and play with Mahomes. You might have all that. So that's what, I mean, McAdoo, he's not really good for much. I wasn't a big fan of his.
Same.
But with what you said, it's like, man, you brought him in for a reason. Why couldn't you go trade up for Mahomes? And if the Chiefs at the time were to accept that trade, it's, just do it. Like it's, like why not? You could have him marinate behind Eli Manning for a year or two, and that's it. And then and in that draft class too, in Daniel Jones's draft class, believe when it was in 19, I think.
Yeah, 2019.
In 19. They took Sexy Dexy Lawrence with the 17th overall pick. So that's who they got the 17th overall pick for Beckham. So it's like, okay, if you kept Beckham on the team, then you don't have an elite run stopper like Lawrence. So I guess it's a give and take kind of thing, right? But let's check out the chat. Jonathan, would you have taken Wirfs instead of Andrew Thomas? No. Oof. Andrew Thomas is one of the best left tackles in the league. He's an elite tackle. It's just he's hurt. So Wirfs is excellent. I wouldn't have. No, absolutely not. Andrew Thomas was the right move. And the thing that I love about Andrew Thomas, his rookie season was awful. It was bad. But then his second year, he progressed in his second year and he got better. And then his third year, breakout, just had a fantastic season. So Andrew Thomas was the right move. He's elite over there at left tackle. It's just he's hurt. That's the problem. And Dev Finch, Giants don't want him to go to be Eagles head coach. Who, Dable? The Eagles are fine.
Oh, yeah, the Eagles are the Eagles are fine.
Eagles are fine, Dev.
Yeah.
They're all
the Eagles are fine. You bring up Thomas, right? And
Andrew
when
Thomas,
you look at these Andrew Thomas, right? And when you look at these past few drafts, he's been the golden goose, especially from the offensive line opponent. But teams, when they're building their offensive line, they do it in the draft. It's not that many offensive linemen that make the free agent market. And those that do, they're like later on in their career, past their prime, past like their, the high level of their career. So if the Giants want to figure out a way to fix it, you got to aim at that draft, and you have to have the right people in that war room when these selections are being made. You brought up the Cowboys earlier on the show, and when you look at the Cowboys, one thing they were never able to do was make it far in the playoffs, right? But the one thing they've been able to do, especially within the past 6 years, is build a solid offensive line, right? Ezekiel Elliott was able to put the numbers he put up because of that offensive line. You give Saquon Barkley that offensive line, he's turning into Bo Jackson in 1995 the NES football game. You know what I'm talking about. That's what he's going to turn it. You give him that offensive line, he's going to become Bo Jackson in that game.
Sunil, I see your comment. I'm going to attack you in a second. Please stay around, brother. I appreciate you, but I'm going to have to go in a little bit. However, if you look at the Giants offensive line, right, and you look at how it improved when they drafted Eli Manning and, David Deal got better, Chris Snee, they drafted him in the same draft as Eli Manning, McKenzie, they signed Sean O'Hara. It took time for those guys to get better, but their halfback, Tiki Barber, was so elite and ridiculous. The guy, I think he had 4 years where he had 2,000 all-purpose yards. Hector, that's Barry Sanders didn't even do that.
Yeah,
Emmitt Smith did not even do that. So it's Tiki Barber broke my heart. What, in a way, if Saquon Barkley stays healthy, it's kind of what Barkley's doing right now. Last season, the 1,600 all-purpose yards, like, it was a good year. He just needs to be healthy. So, Sunil, this is his comment. G-ladies have a more overpaid QB than the Cowboys do, Joe. Daniel Jones is overrated. Sunil, thank you for blessing us with your presence in the chat. I really appreciate it. But I think Dak Prescott is one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league. I like Dak. I actually like Dak a lot. I liked him when he was in college. I thought he was a better QB than Carson Wentz. I still do. I know Wentz had like a couple decent years as a pro, but Dak Prescott last season, I mean, in 12 games, 2,800 yards, 15 interceptions last year, Sunil. If you want to compare last year's numbers, Daniel Jones only had 5 interceptions. That's all he had. Can he hear us? Dev can't hear us anymore.
I don't know. I can hear you.
Okay,
I don't
sweet.
know,
I'm just going to keep talking.
Go ahead.
Sunil, 15 interceptions, 2,800 yards. I don't think Dak Prescott's all that great either. I don't think he's that great. Bad audio. Bad audio. Jigga, bad audio.
I'll work it out. Go ahead. Finish talking.
Okay. I don't think Dak Prescott's that good either. I think 23 touchdowns last season, 2,800 yards, 15 interceptions. You could say all you want about Daniel Jones. Dak Prescott has had a very good offensive line for a pretty long time. He has. Daniel Jones has never had that kind of offensive line ever in his time on the Giants. So to say that Dak Prescott's better than Daniel Jones, to say that, get your head out of here. Sunil, it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Last season, he had 5 interceptions. Last year, 5 interceptions. Dak Prescott, 15 interceptions. It's not it doesn't matter. 15 interceptions last year, Dak Prescott. So, I mean, come on. Don't crap on Daniel Jones because people crap on your quarterback. He's blessed with a very good offensive line and receivers. CeeDee Lamb, Gallup. He's had weapons. Dak Prescott. Daniel Jones hasn't.
Nope.
Come on. Regressing like Quincy Carter. Holy crap, Sunil. Quincy Carter. I used to put that guy on my team in Madden for some reason. We had Kerry Collins at the time in Madden 03. I used to trade like a 4th-round draft pick for Quincy Carter. Don't know why I did it, but I did. I was like 10 at the time, but I did it. Hector, what do you think about everything I'm saying?
Well, first of all, Sunil always makes us laugh in the chat. Shout out to my guy, Sunil.
Fantastic.
Thank you for always supporting. Shout out to my guy, Sunil. Even though he's from Dallas, that's still my guy. You bring up Madden, and I'm not sure if you've seen it, but last year, what a lot of Madden players were doing online with the Giants, they were taking Daniel Jones out as the starting quarterback. Do you know who they had as the starting quarterback playing online? Kadarius Toney. Online, I swear to God, I'll find some of these videos and I'll send it. 90% of players that picked the Giants to play Madden online, they had Kadarius Toney as their quarterback because he was a quarterback in high school and he has the speed. So they were using the read option and they were just running around with Tony and using him as a quarterback. So we had a better quarterback on our team. His name was Tony, and we got rid of him. So that's one.
According
right?
to Madden.
According to Madden, he was a better quarterback.
Holy crap,
But no,
Sunil.
when it comes to Dak Prescott, I agree with you. I like Dak, right? Dak is a solid guy and stuff like that, but I think Dak is a better version of Mark Sanchez with a better offensive line. I'm just leave it like that.
Okay.
Like you said, he has a legendary offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, the reason they were able to put up those numbers was because of that offensive line. You give both those players the Giants offensive line, Dak Prescott would turn into Geno Smith 2.0, and Ezekiel Elliott would never have been able to get multiple contract extensions.
Holy shit. That's funny. Jonathan, trading Tony was bad for the Giants. No, I disagree. Trading Tony, you were able to acquire Darren Waller. You were able to draft Trey Hawkins. And I think something else they were able to do because of the Tony trade. Sunil, Joe, I gotta send you the IG song meme that's out there about the Jets. It's glorious. Chicken Man would object though. Yeah, send it over. But you know, listen, I 1-4.
Yeah,
right. 1-4. It's not where we want to be. And Buffalo, you might start the year 1-5. However, Hector, let's say for whatever reason, let's just say, let's have a little fun. If the Giants crap the bed, if they stink, right, and they suck and they finish the year out 2-15, and they have a top 5 pick in the draft, what do you do? Well, what do you do with Daniel Jones? What do you do with Dable? What do you do? Who do you draft? What do you do?
The smart thing would be to try to get a quarterback, but you got so much money invested into Daniel Jones. Who's going to take him off your hands? Nobody going to take him off your hands. So you will have to go to what the team needs, and that's offensive linemen. You need to do whatever you can, even if, say, like hypothetically, you get the 2nd pick in the draft. If you got to trade down, right, because the draft boards has the offensive lineman as the 5th or the 6th pick, even if you have to trade down to the 4th spot to make sure you secure that guy, or even if you have to keep on moving, depending on where you're at in the draft, if you have to move down because the depth chart doesn't say that guy is valued that high, you have to do everything you can to fine-tune that offensive line. That's the only way to fix the team, because we have a running back. We have a quarterback that I believe is above NFL average. I think he's an average quarterback. I think Daniel Jones is above average quarterback. So you have your quarterback, you have your running back, you got your wide receiver core. You already have your defensive core as well. A Giants defense, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Our glaring issue is our offensive line. We have to fix that. If we don't fix that, we don't got much of a future.
Yeah, I think if you have like a top 5 pick in the draft, I think, and if Marvin Harrison Jr. is available, and he's a receiver, but apparently he's a generational type of guy. So I know that's not addressing your offensive line. I totally understand that. I totally get that. But imagine bringing in a player like him, an elite talent like him, for Daniel Jones. Yeah, that would be that. But Hector, I totally agree, bro.
No, but I don't disagree with you either. Yeah. If there's a generational talent out there to get, you get them. But then you have to do what you can. You have to get creative in the later part of the first. If you take them in the first round, early part of the first round, you got to be creative for that back end of the first round to try to trade up to get another offensive lineman.
I agree. I agree. But I know as far as lineman goes, I saw a mock draft the other day, and I think there's like 1 or 2 like first round talents as far as the lineman goes. So, and there's 1, I think, top 5 talent. So, and there's and Dev Finch, to answer your question, there's actually like 3 or 4 really good QBs in this draft, really good ones. They're saying that this could be one of the best drafts for quarterbacks that we've had in a while. So, you got
Caleb Caleb Williams coming out of USC. You got Drake May coming out of North Carolina. That's literally just the top 5, top 6, those 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. That's, so it's, but like you said, Hector, you have so much money clogged up in Daniel Jones. Yeah, you have so much. So it's like, do you? I believe he's gonna count towards like $50 million or $56 million towards the cap next year. I think I could be totally wrong, but
I'm sorry, I got this mock draft real quick. I just want to go with it. So they have Harrison Jr. going second so far. This is just right now for what the standings are on the records. So they got Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. going to Denver to the Broncos. Then when you go to the Giants are 8th. It's the offensive lineman out of Penn State, Fashionau. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but
sure.
that's what the mock draft had.
Okay, is he a tackle or a guard?
A tackle. He's an offensive tackle.
Okay, interesting.
So when you look at offensive guards, you don't have anything in the top 10.
Yeah, so like I guess what the Giants would do then in that case, you draft that kid at tackle, put him at right tackle, and then move Evan Neal to right guard.
Yeah, the first guard of the first offensive guard that they got going out of the draft in the first round is 31st with the Kansas City. Cooper Baby, who's coming out of Kansas State.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so he's all the way down there. So, like you said, you take that tackle, and like I said, you get creative at the end of the first round and try to trade up to get that guard as well.
Yeah, and in all fairness, too, Joshua Zudu, he's actually a guard. He's not even a left tackle. So, and I don't think he's that bad. So at that point, if Thomas comes back and he's healthy, you could maybe move a Zudu to guard, maybe right guard, and see how he does. Because they have a lot of guys on that line playing out of position. Yeah. It's like that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And we don't want to go into the draft drafting some young kids out of college just to have them playing out of position as well, right? So it got to be the right fixes. It has to be the right pieces, bro.
It has to make sense. And with this team and Schmitz, our center, who had a very good camp, a very good preseason. He's hurt too, and he's our center.
Any update on him? Because he got hurt in the first or second game?
The third game.
The third game he got injured.
The third game, yeah, I think so. I'm just looking. I'm looking it up myself actually too. No, I don't know if he practiced. I don't know if Schmitz practiced.
Yeah, because I was checking the injury report, and they even have Daniel Jones as questionable for this game coming up. So
I know.
We may not even have Daniel Jones for this game coming up. So if there's no Daniel Jones, it's a watch. You can count
so
it as
at that point, if you're 1-5, what's the point the rest of the year? Just shut down Daniel Jones and tank it? Is that what we're gonna have to do every damn week? We just put the Big Blue Brew to 2 shows a week, Hector. That's not good.
I'm ready to go, though. I'm ready to go. I'll still be here every week to have these conversations. But I want to ask you, right?
Yeah, bro. Ask me.
We've talked about Saquon Barkley and his injury concerns. Why isn't no one brought up the fact that Daniel Jones, he's often injured. He got injured in the last game. Last year, he was injured as well. The year before. So it's Daniel Jones, does he get labeled as injury risk as well, even though he did sign that massive contract extension in the offseason?
You make a good point, but we're committed to him. That's like that's the crappy thing out of this whole entire shabacle, right? You're shabacle. I made up a word. You're committed to Daniel Jones. You kind of like have no choice. So but I mean, listen, if you're the Giants, and I personally think they don't because they have so much money tied up into Daniel Jones, but if you for some reason have the number 1 overall pick, do you take the quarterback or no?
I don't know. People have been saying Caleb. Yeah, people say Caleb Williams is a generational generational talent as well.
Yeah.
The smart thing to do is to take the quarterback, but the Giants, they have that money invested in him. So they'll trade down. They'll see who's desperate enough to trade up for a quarterback, and it's King's ransom. If you have the picks that the Giants want, I would trade because we already have that quarterback in place.
Yeah. It's the thing is, if people think he's a generational type talent, then you're telling me that he has the ceiling of a Mahomes. He has the ceiling of a Peyton Manning. He has the ceiling of, a Tom. Like, if you're telling me all that, that's awfully, tempting to go out and draft him like it is. How do you forego that? Like, how do you do that? I understand with Daniel Jones. I get it. Like, I'm a Daniel Jones guy. I want this to work out. But if you're telling me that there's a generational talent at number one and you could have them if you have the number one overall pick, how do you pass up on that? Sunil says Saquon broccoli. Listen, he's got broccoli legs. Saquon broccoli. He's got some tree trunks, man. Those things are thick. They are big. They kind of scare me. So we have an Italian content creator making up fictitious Hebrew words about a god-awful Jesus. Only in New York. You're too much, Sunil.
That's my guy's.
You're too much. You're a part of the whole shabacle. You're a part of it, Sunil. But Sunil, I really appreciate you. Yeah.
Yeah. The Giants, they have a fascination when it comes to another made-up word. When it comes to the Manning family, right?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Jones was drafted because people said he was tutored by Eli Manning. He comes from the Eli Manning coaching camps and stuff like that, quarterback camps, I should say.
Yeah.
They're going to try to make this work when it comes to Daniel Jones. And I'm just putting it out there. I'll get my tinfoil hat and put my tinfoil hat on. Don't be surprised. The Giants, they signed Daniel Jones to this contract extension. Not all of the money is guaranteed, but Arch Manning will be in the draft in a couple of seasons. The same way that Eli Manning was forced to the Giants because Archie Manning has a relationship with the Mara family. Yeah. I'm a Giants fan, and I want Arch Manning with the Giants, point blank. I'll sip the Kool-Aid all you want. Give me Arch Manning.
But Hector, bro, do you know what you're asking for at that point? You're asking to suck for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. Oh my gosh. I don't like that idea, Hector. My bushy ass eyebrows.
All right, let me try to
I don't think I can do it.
Let me try to lay it out so it can become more palatable for you, right? So over the next three more palatable. He'll be available in the draft in the next 3 years, right? Daniel Jones will have him for the next 4 to 5 years as well at the same time. Daniel Jones, by the time Arch Manning heads into the draft, he'll be considered a veteran quarterback, right? So it could be the perfect tutelage. He get drafted by the Giants. Daniel Jones can help him along the way. He was coached by his uncle, Eli Manning, so maybe they can help him out. I'm just spitballing. I'm just trying to throw shit against the wall to see what sticks, right? Because I don't think the Giants will draft Campbell, even if they have number one. They may trade down, like I said, to that 8th spot so they could get that offensive tackle, or they may trade down to the 2nd spot to get the wide receiver who's a generational talent as well. Sure. But drafting Caleb Williams the year after they gave Daniel Jones a contract extension, they're just admitting what all of us fans already knew. Daniel Jones is not the guy, but they already gave him the contract extension.
And what you could do as well, if you have the number one overall pick, you could probably get a lot for the first overall pick just by dropping down a spot or two, just by dropping down one spot or two. So that would be, ideal. But then at that point, you're saying you're passing up on this generational talent. Sunil, you can't spell eliminated without Eli. Coincidentally, you've been eliminated. Yeah, I get it. Our 2-time Super Bowl champion QB. I get it, Sunil.
Yeah,
I get it. When was the last time the Dallas Cowgirls won? What year was that, Hector? Do you know?
I don't know, bro. I don't think Power Rangers was syndicated on TV yet in the US.
Was I crapping in diapers at that time? Like, what were you doing? I mean, Sunil, it's been. Listen, at least we have a couple championships in recent, past, like, let's say 10, 15 years to show for it. The Cowgirls, my gosh. Jerry Jones, that guy tries his best, but geez Louise, they're in the playoffs and then they lose all the time. Could the Giants do something unexpected and trade Jones for a first round pick? Jonathan, if any team is willing to give us a first round draft pick for Daniel Jones, and we've heard this a bunch, but I will go to wherever Daniel Jones lives and I will personally drive him myself. Hector, I'll pick you up, bro. We could go.
I got gas
Daniel
money.
Jones. Yeah,
we're gas and tow money. We out.
Yeah. There we go, baby. That's what I would do.
First, I would say, hell yeah, sign me up. And second, I would say someone needs to be drug tested, because I don't think there's a GM that's dumb enough out there to trade a first round pick for Daniel Jones, especially with the money that is owed to him.
Jonathan, nobody is going to trade for Daniel Jones. Nobody. No one is going to. Even if you gave the Giants a 7th round draft pick for Daniel Jones, even if you gave the Giants a future draft pick, 7th rounder, the nobody will do that. No one will do that.
When Daniel Jones signed his contract extension, I felt the same way when Jason Worth signed with the Washington Nationals. I was like, why is he getting paid that much money? Why is he getting paid? Because Jason Worth, when he got that guy, he got like over 120 million from the Nationals when no one was on the free agent market, and it messed up free agency for some years to come. And then the owners started getting cheap with it. That's how I felt when the news came out. Daniel Jones is signing for 40 million a season. I was like, huh? I was like, I understand that's the market, but are you serious? 40 million? Then they went out of their way. They went out of their way not to give Saquon Barkley over 10 mil.
Yeah, I know. In a way, I do understand it a little bit. A little. I do. You're the best.
Like I said, that's the market, bro. Like, I get it. The market dictates itself, and I understand that's what the market dictated at the time for quarterbacks. You got to pay more for your quarterbacks nowadays. I get that. I understand that. But for this guy,
yeah. Sunil, Dallas 5 rings, G Ladies 4. Sunil, you guys haven't won a championship. I wasn't even potty trained yet, Sunil. I wasn't even potty trained yet. What are you talking about? That's the last time you guys won the Super Bowl.
The last time you guys won
with the Yankees.
The last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, the USSR was still a thing, my guy. The Berlin Wall was still up.
Holy crap. So 1995, Jeter played 15 games. In 95. He wasn't even a full time. You guys haven't won since then.
In 1995, Bill Clinton was still looked at as a loyal husband. So now what are you talking about?
Sunil, come on. I was 3, Sunil. I was 3. Yeah, Power Rangers, it was a thing. It wasn't its 3rd season.
It was.
It wasn't its 3rd season, right?
So that's when the Shogun Thunderzords started into the mix. That's when that happened. There we go.
The Ninja Zords, yeah.
The Ninja Zords.
Yeah, the Ninja Zords in 95. Talk about the Jets. Yeah. Sorry, Jigga.
Yeah, sorry, so I love you, bro. That sucks. That's Sunil. That's not me or Joe. Anywho.
Yeah. Like, why, Sunil? Why bring him into this conversation like that, Sunil? He wasn't even saying anything that bad. You're here comparing rings. Yeah,
there you go.
Comparing rings. Yeah, what's up?
My fault, Joe. I apologize. What you was gonna say, brother?
No, I guess we're out of time, right?
Oh, well, I was going to say, if we have just one more thing, let's just go through the rest of the schedule to see if there's any wins for us to get. Next week, Giants versus Bills, or this week coming up. What's your thoughts on it?
Giants versus Bills. We're gonna lose.
Yeah. Okay, copy.
We're
So
gonna
that's
lose.
a loss.
Yeah.
The following week, we have the Commanders, who are 2-3.
Do we have Daniel Jones or not?
If we have, I would say yes. We have Daniel Jones.
If we have Daniel Jones, we have Saquon, we have Andrew Thomas, we win.
Yeah,
We win.
For me, I don't care what it is. I just want us to win because I hate that name, the Commanders. I think it's the dumbest name ever.
Yeah.
Then on the 29th, we have the New Jersey, the New York Jets.
We lose.
Okay, I'm right there with you.
We're 2-6 at that point.
Against the Raiders, who are 2-3 right now.
We lose.
I'm right there with
2-7.
you. Then we have the Cowboys, who are 3-2. Us is 1-4. Just because Sunil's in the chat, I want the Giants to win. Fuck you, Sunil.
All right. 3 and what? 3-7 or 2-8? Ay. Hector, 2-8. Holy crap. Who else, Hector? Who else we got?
Then we got the Commanders coming back into town.
Okay.
I'm gonna put that as a dub because it's the Commanders. Then we got the Patriots, who right now have the same record as us, 1-4. So
we could beat
Bill
them.
Belichick. Yeah, I would say we could beat Bill Belichick and
At
Mick
home.
Mac over there.
Yeah.
Then we have
four wins.
Then we have the Packers.
Loss.
Then we have the Saints. I would say that's a loss.
Where? In New Orleans?
In New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken.
Loss.
Let me just double check.
Loss.
Yeah, in New Orleans. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 5-0 right now. That's a loss. Then we have
4 wins so far, Hector.
We have the LA Rams, who are 2-3.
Loss.
That's a loss. And then the Eagles to close out the season.
Loss.
Yeah,
We're gonna finish the year
wins.
4-13. Holy
That's what I'm talking
crap.
about. Hey, Joe, but guess what? I will be here
What,
every
Hector?
week with you, twice a week,
Me
so
too,
we can have
bro.
these conversations.
We're gonna have a bunch of fun all year. Guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Sunil, it was a pleasure. Dev, who else? TC Steels, he was here. Jonathan
was in the
thank
building.
you.
Debbie Finch was in
Jason
the building.
Lang, Dev, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're gonna be here every Tuesday and Friday. I believe 2-3 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hector, thank you so much for joining. I'm excited for the rest of the year for me and you just to talk every Tuesday or Friday and cry about the New York Giants. Thank you, brother.
Definitely. I just want to say thank you, bro. Thank you to everybody that's in the chat. Everybody knows what I've been dealing with the passing of my dog. And I just want to say that, Joe, you've been a brother to me this entire time, reaching out, checking in on me. I definitely appreciate that. My guy Celso as well, who's backstage, everybody that's in the chat. I just want to tell you guys, these conversations and you guys reaching out has definitely helped me when it comes to my mental health. I just want to just throw that out there. I'm not bullshitting anybody just to say it. Yeah. I really appreciate all of you guys and the community that we have built over here at Morning Brew Sports. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Hector. I love you, man. And
love you too, Brody.
Until Friday. See you later. Are we still on?